What's up? I'm B and welcome to my channel. Hope you're having a good Wednesday today. Thank you so much for being flexible. I know I usually go on Tuesdays, but had an appointment that got rescheduled, so that's what I had to go do instead. But I am here now and we are doing a live Q&A. It's been a while since I've done one of these. The last one was on around my birthday, like 6 months ago. So it's time for another one. As always, we're going to go ahead and give people some time to get in, get acquainted, get settled, and then we will get started. Kona said, hello, B. I won't be typing much probably because I'm making dinner, but I'm excited to be here. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I hope your dinner turns out delicious. Hi, Audrey. All right, who else is in here? Say hi, give the stream a like because that is super helpful to me. And let me know what your win for the week is. Something good that happened, something exciting, something that made you feel nice, whatever it was, let me know. Hi, Brianna. Hi, Jayonce TV. Hi. Okay, so while you guys are typing that out, I did have two orders of business to go over. It's literally nothing. It's just stuff for you guys. So Duvolle, if you guys remember, they sent me the, oh my gosh, why can't I talk? Because I'm trying to type at the same time. They sent me that spin care system that I still use literally every day, and I love it. And they also sent me something else if you guys wanted a coupon for it. It's not an affiliate code, literally just a coupon. You can get money off of their, I think it's the Desire Series styling irons. So they have a 32 millimeter, which is this one. It's literally just a wand. It spins, it rotates, the cord is super stinking long. This is a 32 millimeter. They also have a 25 millimeter and a flat iron. So you can use the links in the description to go to their website. Those are typically $95, but you can get them for $28.50 using the code Haney if you want to do any of that. Again, just a coupon, not an affiliate. And then I do have an affiliate code though for CBD. You guys said that you would be interested in that. So it's for Soul CBD. Link is in the description. That is affiliate. I will get a small commission and you can get 10% off with code SoulCBD10. So just want to put that out there. Rebecca R said, hello. I've only watched a couple of vids, but I love them. Well, yay. I'm glad you're here with us. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Carolina. Kayla said, got some wrapping done today and took a nice warm bath as a reward to myself. That's so fun. Hi, Malia. Hi, Carolee. Audrey said, I wish I actually cared enough to curl my hair. I have almost waist-length hair, and I always just have it up in a bun. I wish I could get my hair to grow that long. My hair, goes to here, and then it stops. And, that's it. Nothing else. But I know I talk about this all the time. I've been trying to do, the curly girl method kind of half-heartedly because I still use heat tools, especially on my bangs. But I'm trying to get better at actually putting the effort into curly girl method. Courtney said, hello, my win for the week is I get to go see my siblings' new house and their dog new cat tomorrow. So much fun. Brianna said win for the week is that we were able to find cat stockings for our cats, the ones with small toys in them. We always have the hardest time finding them. That's awesome. Do you guys get Christmas presents for your pets if you celebrate Christmas, or holiday gifts for them in general? I always think about them, but I usually just get a few bones. And I'm like, here you go. Here, live. All right. So we'll give people one more minute to get in, and then we will get started with the Q&A. So what my plan is that I'm just going to go through all the questions that I already have that people have already asked, and then depending on what time we get through with those, then if you have anything else, if there are any questions that pop up along the way, you can ask them at the end, and I'll answer them. Audrey said, oh yeah, win for the week. Finished crocheting socks for everyone for Christmas, including for our puppy. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Kona said I spent $80 with my boyfriend this year for our cat. Oh my gosh. You're the cat parents of the year. Brenna said this year we're getting our family dog 5 toys and a small treat. That's so fun. That's so cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First question is, do you have any guilty pleasure TV shows? And the answer to that is I used to, but not anymore. So I don't watch like a ton of new TV. So what I think of like guilty pleasure is kind of like trash TV or like reality TV, stuff like that. And for me, I just like to rewatch the same shows over and over again. So like Arrested Development, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Office, like that's what I'll just listen to and have on in the background to like go to sleep. But I used to really love watching Total Divas and Total Bellas. I don't know what it is. I don't watch wrestling. I'm not into like the WWE stuff at all, but for some reason I just found it super fascinating. I think part of it is because Nikki and Brie grew up in Phoenix, and so I'm like, ooh, twins. But yeah, that's what I used to watch. I kind of lost interest though. And then the second one is, do you have a favorite craft YouTuber like Troom Troom? And Audrey said it's not a guilty pleasure, but I just absolutely love the Golden Girls. 7 seasons wasn't enough. I've never watched that show. There's so many classics I feel like I've never watched. But I just know I like can't talk myself into doing it. But yeah, favorite craft YouTuber, that would be, I don't watch a lot of crafts, like crafters on YouTube, but I learned how to crochet by watching Melanie Ham. She does a ton of like tutorials, how-tos, and like shows the instructions for everything, and I just feel like I can get a really good visualization of what she's actually doing when she makes her videos, so I like her. Brianna said I used to watch Total Divas, but not the Bellas one. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but for like a solid year and a half, 2 years, I was so into it. I followed all of them on Instagram. Like I had my favorites, and literally I never watched like anything outside of that. Y'all know that blue shirt I have that says Be Fearless is from Birdie Bee, which is Nikki and Bella's clothing brand. Like I was gung ho for quite a bit. And then Squirrellock said, okay, but like what happened to Wet and Wild to give them such a glow up? Back in the early 2000s, they were child's makeup comparable to Claire's, and now they're doing some really cool stuff. And I have not been on like Wet and Wild's website or seen Wet and Wild in I don't know how long, but it's cool that they're like thriving now. Molly said, my Grammy taught me to crochet when I was 9, and I've been doing it ever since. I do wish I had somebody to teach me how to crochet like in person, because I feel like then they can correct you when you're messing something up. But I also know that when I was a kid and I was learning how to do things, if I messed up, I definitely got mad when people would try to correct me. I'd be like, no, it's fine. I know how to do it. I just messed up because I was distracted. I know how to do it. And I would never listen, and then I would quit. Audrey said, I actually went to a school where they taught us to knit, crochet, felt, needlepoint, etc. That sounds so fun. I wish like there was more of a focus on that, because I feel like those kinds of things are so relaxing, and it's just not something that, like, at least in my experience, that a lot of people are taught to do as kids, and then they want to learn as an adult, and that's great, but it's like you could have been enjoying it for so much longer. Okay, so next one is from Marianne. It says, what kind of music do you listen to, and what are some of your life goals? And I don't really listen to a ton of music. I like specific songs, but as far as listening to like full albums or having like a favorite artist or anything, I just don't really. I mean, Paramore is probably like all-time favorite. I also like The Cure. I like Fleetwood Mac. I like Mr. Wives. I don't know. I guess it's like kind of like light but poppy alternative, I suppose. And then my most listened to album of 2020, according to Spotify, was Hamilton. So I don't know if that can, I mean, like, I don't really love too much Broadway music. I like some of it, but Hamilton was just something special. Hi, Zoe. No, you've not missed much. I just started like 10 minutes ago. Brianna said, OMG, every time I think of Total Divas, I think of that one scene where Natalia's cat got out and Jimmy/Jay, can't remember which one, yelled and said, has anyone... I'm waiting for part 2, Brianna. Kona said you should check out Glass Animals, good relaxing music. I will. Malia said, OMG, I love Hamilton. I love Hamilton. I was so late to the party on it because I don't know, I don't like new things most of the time, but then when they get really, really popular, I'm even more resistant to liking them. And so it took me a really long time to like listen to the soundtrack, and finally, probably 3 or 4 months after they put the movie on Disney Plus, I finally decided to watch it. And I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. There's a reason people like it. Has anyone seen Natalia's talking about her cat? That show. Audrey said, listen to Hamilton, Waitress, The Heathers, Dear Evan Hansen soundtracks on repeat. I was like that for a long time. Like in high school, I was really into Rent. And I feel like that's the only 2 musicals that I've really listened to and enjoyed is Hamilton and Rent. Yeah, that's like all I can think of. Oh, and like Rocky Horror Picture Show, I really like, but that's pretty much it. And it's not that like Broadway music is bad. I just feel like for me, I want to see the show in order to understand all the songs. Evie said, I listen to Six, the musical, constantly. I've seen a bunch of stuff, like videos about that recommended to me on YouTube. And then life goals. Honestly, like my biggest goal in life is like when I become a mom, just to be able to have myself at a point where my schedule is flexible, whether it be like obviously full-time content creation would be super cool. But whatever avenue it's from, to like be able to set my hours in a way that lets me be super flexible and be there for taking them to like dance class or hockey or whatever, if they want to be in theater or any event or sport that or club that they want to be in, to be able to be there for them, pick them up if they get sick from school, and like not be worried about it. Like to have that flexibility while still being able to bring in an income. That's kind of like what my eyes are set on right now, is like that would be super cool. But also I think it would be very cool to be kind of like a local figure, not to be conceited, but there's this girl, her name's Jillian, and she does all of the announcing at the Coyotes hockey games, and I'm like, that would be a cool job. Doing something like that would be super fun. And then Diana said, is there a piece of drama that you enjoyed watching, like getting popcorn out and going down a deep rabbit hole? And was there one that you found unenjoyable and more exhausting? So, drama that kind of made me be like, oh shoot, oh shoot, oh shoot, like this is happening, was definitely like the Shane, Jeffrey, Tati drama. When Tati came back with her Breaking My Silence video, I was like, oh my gosh. And I was constantly on Twitter, like checking, watching people's videos, figuring it out. Like when Shane went on his Instagram live and started freaking out, I screen recorded it because I was like, I know he's gonna take this down. Like for me, that was something that like for a hot second, I was like, oh my god, this is happening. But then it got just kind of ridiculous pretty quickly. So yeah. And then one that I found unenjoyable and more exhausting. I'm trying to think from when I've started covering like commentary stuff or YouTube stuff, something I found unenjoyable or exhausting. I think anything just like dark or sad, anything beyond, you know, oh, this person was being rude or this person's being crazy, like anything that involves legitimate real life problems makes me sad. And stuff that's exhausting, I think, is just when you see something from the outside and you're like, man, I feel like this could actually be made a lot better if this person put the effort into it, but they continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. So it's like people who are just constantly being ridiculous and harmful. That kind of makes me sad, because I'm like, you could fix this if you cared, but it's easier not to, and it's more profitable not to, if that makes sense. Steve said, my question is, do you subscribe to mathematical Platonism or more to, oh my gosh, I can't even say these words, nominalism? JK, just wanting to say hi. Hi, Steve. I don't know what either of those things are. So I plead the fifth. And then Miss Brianna in here said, what are your favorite types of shows to watch? I like watching comedies and Cutthroat Kitchen. Ooh, I forgot to say that earlier. I'll watch Cutthroat Kitchen and Bob's Burgers. I like those as well. Alyssa said, do you know your MBTI type? And if so, what is it? This Myers-Briggs, that mine is ENTJ, which, if I'm remembering correctly, is the commander. So I don't know. I took the test when I was in college, and I think I was a lot more high-strung back then, and a lot more like brash, and not necessarily I wasn't too worried about being like super likable or considerate of other people's feelings. So I was definitely a lot more brash back then, which definitely lines up with the commander. But I think for the most part, that would probably still be my Myers-Briggs type if I took it. Have any of you guys taken that? If so, I want to know what your type is. Steve said, I watch Hell's Kitchens, but not convinced it's reality TV. It's rather contrived. I've actually never seen that show. Kona said, I'm INFJ, the advocate. Ooh. Have any of you guys else taken it? I want to know what your Myers-Briggs are. I'm so nosy about stuff like that, though. Literally, whenever there's a personality test, I swear I become such a narcissist, because I need to know what I am. I'm like, tell me about me. Tell me everything about me. Audrey's an INFP. Okay, so we've got 3 introverts. Malia said, I'm an INFP too. Steve said, I know what that is, and I think I have online before, but I don't remember. B said, Myers-Briggs is astrology for people who think they're too smart for astrology. Regardless, I'm ENFP, the campaigner. Ooh. For me, that's like opposite. I think astrology is so overwhelming for me. And whenever people talk about it, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. But it's hard for me to remember. Some people can say like, oh, Pisces are always like this, or Cancers are always like this. And I just wonder how people keep track of all those different types when they know things about other people based on their signs. Katie Elise said, ISFJ, the defender. That one sounds awesome. So I said, I haven't taken it, but I'm a Hufflepuff. Fun fact, I know what that is, because I know that it's like, what, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, a fourth one. I've never read or seen Harry Potter at all. Never read the books, never seen the movies. Audrey's the mediator. I like that. I wonder if that's kind of like an exhausting kind of persona or type to have, if you're always worried about making sure other people are like they're good, trying to go between two people. You said, how dare you forget Slytherin? My apologies. Isn't that like you know what? I'm not gonna offend any Harry Potter fans. I was gonna say something anti-Slytherin. Molly said, OMGB, never seen Harry Potter take the walk of shame. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Like I said, everybody. So when I went to high school, one of the Harry Potter movies was coming out, and all my friends, I remember, so obsessed, dressed up with their cloaks and their wands, came to school so excited to go see one of the movies, and I just was not into it. Audrey said, the Enneagram's another good personality test, very flexible and easy to understand. I took the Enneagram too. I am a 5, which, I think it's the investigator is number 5. But, all right, back to the questions, because you guys are distracting me because I like talking to you too much. Madeline said, how'd you meet your husband? We actually met at a party. I've talked about him a little bit, how like we got married super quick. We literally met at a party, and then the next week I was going to visit my friend in Puerto Rico, and so I left, was gone for like a week, came back with a broken foot, and we had been like texting the entire time I was gone, and so we had to like reschedule our first date. I got my cast, we went on our first date, and then like that was pretty much it. After that, we dated for a year, got engaged, less than 6 months later, got married. It's not even like the most romantic story, but I feel like it's very us, of like boom, 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 moving quick. Belinda said, totally respect the balance you bring in your coverage. Have never watched / read Harry Potter either. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that I'm not alone and not having seen Harry Potter. Zoe said, I met my wife by accident. It was a complete mistake. Wait! You set me up. That's funny, Zoe. Darnellville said, what up, B? Can't say I got therapy, but you're the best. Thank you so much. Have a good therapy appointment. I'm glad that you were saying, I gotta go because my mental health is important. So I hope you have a good appointment. And thank you for saying hi. B said, I met my partner on Tinder, almost 3 years now. Ooh. That's so cool. I always wonder about people like who met on Tinder like a long time ago, because I wonder how it's different now. Because I was on Tinder in college and I like never really got along with anybody that I met there. And so obviously I've been married for like 5 years, not on Tinder anymore. But I wonder how it's changed over time. Zoe said, I didn't mean the marriage. I'm happily married. She's amazing. Oh my gosh, I thought you were making a joke. Like, Audrey said, I met my partner on Bumble going on 2 years. B said, it's like the only one anyone uses now. Huh. Zoe said, but how we met was an accident. I basically tweeted her by accident thinking she was someone else. Oh, that's funny. Okay. So yeah, that is how we met. Sammy said, my question is, have you sent clips of your voice to an app like Calm or Audible? Not to sound creepy, lol, but seriously, you have the sweetest, most relaxing voice. There have been so many days where I've been super overwhelmed and anxious, so I've pulled up your videos and just listened to them on low volume after I've already watched at full volume, of course, lol, and it makes me feel better. I could totally see you narrating or something. First of all, thank you. I get comments like that pretty frequently about people like listening to my videos to relax, and I appreciate it. Like, that makes me feel good knowing that even if like I don't know you personally, something I put out there is calming and relaxing to you and makes you feel like, okay, you know, it is something that is helpful. I love getting comments like that, so thank you. Second of all, when I first learned that Ed Kemper was in prison narrating audiobooks, I thought, hold on. If he could do that, I could do that. That would be a sick job. And I looked into like being a narrator for books, and all of the jobs want you to have like professional studio and all these samples and all this stuff. And at the time, I was not about it. I did not feel like putting in all the effort, but I feel like maybe at some point I could. I don't know. I think it would be cool to be like a voice actor, or even to do like a calm story, stuff like that. Kona said, I met my partner on Tinder over a year ago. Neither of us expected a successful relationship as we've had from a Tinder match, LOL. I've heard some people, Morgan and Paul met online. If you remember those videos, they met on Tinder. So we could see it. We know what happens. B said, agreed. I listen to your videos while I do data entry at work, and it's so chill. Thank you. Andre said, I would totally love if you did a guided meditation. Okay, somebody tell my husband that, because he said he wanted to get into meditation, but he like just didn't know where to start or like what to do. And so I told him, I was like, let me do it for you. Like, lay down. Let me walk you through a meditation. And he was not for it. He didn't find it as relaxing, I guess. Brianna said, I downloaded a dating app before and made a whole profile, and then realized people in my town would potentially see it and had a panic attack and deleted it. Oh my gosh, Brianna, that reminds me of, I signed up for Bumble BFF when I first like moved out to Phoenix, because it's an hour away from like all of my friends and my family. And so I first signed up on Bumble BFF, and I was looking through the matches, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I saw like 3 people that I went to college with on there, and I had the same thing. I was like, if I can see them on there, I know they can see me on there. And I got super embarrassed and deleted it. But the thing is, like, if they're on there, they're like, if they see me, they'll know I see them, and they haven't deleted their profile. It's just a way to meet friends, but I don't know. I had like a panic moment too, and I deleted my Bumble BFF. Rachel said, hi B, hope you're having a great week. Thought I'd get in here with my win of the week, as I'm usually busy when you do your lives, and it's such a fun little way to start it off. I'm just so excited about Christmas, which is the first time in a long time. Apart from my partners, all the gifts I'm giving are surprises, and I'm just so excited to see the reactions to them. And that leads me to my questions. First of all, I hope you get amazing reactions. I'm sure you put so much thought into them. And the question is, do you celebrate Christmas? If so, what are your plans? If not, how are you enjoying the last couple weeks of this interesting year? I do celebrate Christmas. I'm going to be spending Christmas with my family, opening presents and like driving around to look at Christmas lights in the car, which is something that we just do every year, is like get hot cocoa, load up in the car, and drive around. So we're still going to be doing that. And last couple weeks of the year, they're a lot. They're a lot, but we are pushing through. Brianna said, are you currently binging any shows? If so, what are they? No, I'm not currently binging any shows. Although, I will say that with the drama that happened with Joey Graceffa and Daniel Prada, both talking about how Gabby Hanna made Escape the Night like miserable for them. Last week when I was off, I did watch the seasons of Escape the Night that she was in, because I never watched it. Like, I didn't have YouTube Red or YouTube Premium, whatever it's called, when that show was on, when those seasons were on, and I have it now, and so I watched them. And I kind of thought, Steve said, pitch my show, Caffeine Corner, and agreed to argue. Check out Steve's channel if you like conversations and discourse. But yeah, so I watched that, and it was interesting. And then last one on YouTube is, are there any YouTubers, YouTube drama you refuse to cover, and why? And I will say, so far, the only stuff that I have like chosen not to talk about that somebody has brought to me, like, and said like, hey, will you talk about this? The only times that I haven't is if I didn't feel like I understood the topic well enough to talk about it. So if it was something from like a completely different corner of YouTube that I don't keep up with, and I felt like there was more information that I would need, and I just didn't have the time to do that research, I won't talk about it. And then just in general, like certain smaller dramas with creators who are always getting in drama, I try not to talk about them too much. B, thank you so much for the donation. He said SB's gotta stick together. Okay, so every time people were adding you in the chat, I kept thinking they were talking to me, and I'm like, I don't get it. And then I realized that they were responding to you. Squirrelock said, am I late? Kind of. I just got to the end of all of the YouTube questions. I answered your questions, so you're a little bit late. Courtney said, I don't think Daniel Prado was that upset with Gabby Hanna in hindsight, unless I have the timeline off. He designed her living room, did a full video with her after the season, so I guess they were okay. I think they were okay, but he just said, like, from what I understand, she was just, like, unpleasant to work with. She didn't work very well in, like, a group environment. Steve said, I'm doing a mass show in a few, so have to run. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas. You do an excellent job. Cheers. Have fun. I hope it goes well, and thanks for joining in for a little bit. Merry Christmas, Steve. And then back to Courtney, though, what you were saying. I think he was just basically talking about how if somebody is not liked in the industry, there's, like, a reason why. If they have an inability to get along with people and they're, like, constantly falling out, that's kind of a reason why. Like, there is a reason why. It can't be everybody else, you know? So maybe after, when he did, like, the living room design, he did that in her house that she owns, because I never saw that. But again, I didn't really watch her channel at the time. Squirrellock said, getting ready for Christmas Eve and didn't have my phone near me. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. No worries. This always stays up. So you can always rewatch it. Also, I would so much rather, if you're, like, enjoying getting ready for Christmas Eve and literally just taking in the holiday spirit, I would so much rather you do that and then come back and watch it later. For me, one of my goals for December has been to enjoy Christmas, because we hit December and I was like, oh my god, like, I knew Halloween happened and I knew Thanksgiving happened, but I did not take the time to actually appreciate that we were in those months, that those things were happening. I didn't get festive. I just wasn't super into them. And so my goal for December was be excited, bake things, like make cookies, decorate the house, burn your Christmas candles. I have these, like, Christmas leggings, and so wear those as often as you can. Just be involved in Christmas. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Veronica. So, and then last one. Yeah, B said, I relate. This year has been a very weird, smeary blur. Smeary is the literal word for it. It's just, like, everything is hazy. Like, it's smeared. I can't see this past year clearly. I was talking to my husband the other day. What were we? I think we were watching a football game or something, and I told him, I was like, the weirdest thing for me is that I remember back in March, when, like, this whole thing, when COVID first started becoming, like, talked about worldwide, we were like, okay, well, you know, we'll see what happens, how it gets handled, we'll be careful, whatever. But, like, this was before any of the lockdowns started. So I remember going to a spring training game with some of my friends, and we were talking, like, okay, yeah, and, like, next weekend we're going to go to the hockey game, so we'll look for tickets on Monday. And literally that Monday, they canceled, like, the rest of the hockey season, and they shut stuff down. And just since then, we've been in this shutdown, and I'm like, I can't believe that literally just a few days before then, I was out with friends making plans, and then that got shut down. We had to cancel a trip to see some family members, and blah, blah, blah. Y'all know. Y'all had to cancel plans. I'm not the only one. But that was it for all of the YouTube questions. I did have one on Instagram, which I thought was super funny, because the first time I did this Q&A, all of the questions pretty much came from Instagram, and only one or two came from the YouTube community tab. But this time there's only one. So thank you, Donald Tyler Bell, for asking me a question. And it was, do you think Trisha P and Without a Crystal Ball should be deplatformed? And I don't know. Because I saw this and I was trying to think about it before I started. And honestly, I just don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily feel right saying that somebody should be deplatformed and lose the way that they make their living. But at the same time, I heavily disagree with so many of the things that they do. And some days I'm just like, man, if this person just wasn't here, how calming would that be? Or how much further damage could be prevented if they just weren't here? So I guess as far as Trisha goes, I can't say that I've ever seen her commit a crime. I definitely don't like her, but it's okay, you haven't committed a crime. You're very hurtful to a lot of people, but technically, that's not something that could get you deplatformed. For Without a Crystal Ball, if she's found guilty of the things that Tati is suing her for, that might be a different case, because it's okay, you're not using your platform in a responsible way. So maybe that would justify it, but I really don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think people like that should be deplatformed? Becca said, what did I miss? You missed all of the questions, but I will open up to any people who want to ask questions now. But all the questions that were on my community tab and Instagram I answered. Erica said, yay, I made it to the live. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Vistas and Vibes said, hey, B and chat. Hi. And B said, I think the best way to defeat bad ideas is to combat them with good ones. Just my opinion, though. Yeah. I think that's that's one of the reasons that I don't necessarily talk about Trisha every time she does something, and I'm not posting constantly about Without a Crystal Ball, because it's yeah, especially right now, Without a Crystal Ball, those videos get a lot of views, but at the same time, when you're talking about something so negative and you're talking about the same person over and over again, it kind of gets to a point where I don't really know what you can say. There's nothing else that you can say about somebody who doesn't see a fault in their actions and isn't wanting to change. All right, so now I will do any questions that are thrown out in the live, and we'll do that for 10 minutes. Brianna said, what are some of your phobias/fears? One of my biggest phobias are mice. They scare me so much. A couple more fears are drowning, burning alive, being possessed, a demon, regular fears. What are my fears? I don't really have many fears like that. I definitely don't like lizards in the house. If they're outside, I don't mind them, but I really don't like picking them up and putting them out of the house, because I have to handle them with something, and I'm afraid they're gonna crawl into my clothes or crawl on me, which I don't like. But if they're outside, I'm not super fearful of them. I not so much now, but when I was a lot younger, I used to be completely terrified of the afterlife, and if I think about it too much, I will freak out. But it's just I don't know, it's something that I'm working on. But if you are Christian or you believe in eternal life after death, I'm I would much rather know that there's going to be an end to something. Living forever is terrifying to me. So that's definitely a big concept fear that I have. But in terms of things on this earth, I don't know, I'm pretty good at telling myself to chill out and be okay, well, it's not that bad. Katie said, you may have said this elsewhere, but what year were you born in? I'm just curious if we are the same age. You were born August of 93. I'm like trying to do math. I guess it doesn't matter if I say the year that I was born. I was born in 94. I'm like, I try to be kind of cautious about like what info I put out there, just to like protect safety, but I was born in 1994. B said, talking about those people all the time only gets them more fame and attention. And then TJ said, true that, move on. For sure. Also, B says, gotta head out, had a blast. Thanks so much for joining. Have a good rest of your day. Zoe said, I think that one YouTuber that should be deplatformed is Eugenia Cooney. Her content is damaging. Yeah, that is a good point. Eugenia, like, is not only like health-wise damaging, like her content and her being here is damaging to other people, but at the same time it's damaging to her. Like, she's very sick, and I don't know that she'll stop what she's doing on her own. So I can agree with that. Kona said, I just have a lot of intrusive thoughts about me or my significant other dying and the other having to cope with that, and that's my biggest fear. Oof. Yeah, that's hard. That's a hard one to think about, because it's like, it's something that like eventually at some point you know that like everybody dies, so at some point it will happen, but thinking about it happening too soon, that's really scary. Zoe said, I'm absolutely terrified of wasps and bees. Those don't bug me too much. Wasps, like, I'm like, ooh, I'll like walk away as quickly as I can, but bees don't really bother me. Erica said, I'm kind of surprised that Without a Crystal Ball wasn't canceled before this. She straight up tried to out one of the Duggar husbands because he likes fashion. It took a privileged vitamin mogul to put her in place. I mean, a lot of people, like, outside of the reality show moms, outside of that group, were kind of calling her out for a while, but I don't know that it was anybody big enough for it to make a difference, big enough on YouTube. Because obviously the Duggars are a big family, but those people aren't necessarily, like, all the people watching them on TV are all the people going to YouTube to watch people talking about them. And so I think she kind of just flew under the radar for a little bit until this Tati thing happened. TJ said, are chameleons good? Ugh. If they're in, what is it called? A terrarium or something? If they're in their little containment squares, I'm good with that. But any lizard or reptile outside on me, not a huge fan. So I said I was born in 1994, November, baby. My half birthday is in November. Brianna said, yeah, when I think about what happens after death, it always freaks me out and triggers my anxiety so much. I'm telling you, if I think about it too much, it will freak me out. I'll be like, Squirrelux said, I'm so worried for Eugenia Cooney. She needs to take time away from the internet, but the Shane Dawson series, she seemed to be doing, or before the Shane Dawson series, she seemed to be doing so well. Yeah, it looked like she was getting a little bit healthier. You could see some of the weight in her face, like, coming back, and it was like, okay, this is good. But I didn't even watch the Shane Dawson series because I felt like it was so soon. I was just like, I don't think that this is right. And honestly, let's be real, Katie Morton did not help whatsoever with that, because she is the one who told Jacqueline Glenn how to get people to come evaluate her for a mental health crisis, and then she turns around and has Eugenia on her channel and is like, yeah, that must have felt like, I don't even know the word she used, but, oh, that must have been such a surprise, felt like such a betrayal. You helped them do it. What do you mean? Zoe said, it seems like Eugenia is sort of fueled by the attention she gets. She came back to social media way too quickly after going into treatment. Yeah, I agree. Katie said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot with my question. No, you're good. You're totally good. Zoe said, Katie Morton is her own whole issue. She really is. from the second I saw her, like, the second that she was in that Shane Dawson documentary talking about what a sociopath is, I did not like her. I felt like the way she talked about, like, being a sociopath or being a psychopath was really unprofessional and added to the stigma. Like, what kind of mental health professional is sitting here saying, oh yeah, they're creepy? Why would you say that? Squirrelx said, hindsight is 2020 in that situation. Shane should have never done that mockumentary on her. Yeah. It was just too soon. Courtney said, Katie seems to be striking channels that call her out or use her clips to talk about what she did. Didn't she strike Cringy's channel, I think? But yeah, I heard that too. And I saw Cringy's video. She didn't steal any, like, information. She didn't infringe on copyright at all. That was ridiculous. All right. Well, that is it for the questions that you guys asked me. If there are any last ones that you want to put out there, feel free. And after that, that's gonna be it. Yeah, that's it. Miku Garcia said, the Shane Dawson series of Eugenia Cooney just seemed pointless, just like every other documentary he's done, and just a way for Shane to try and keep his empath image. Yeah. Now that, like, the more we look back at them, I remember when Shane first started doing those documentaries, not everybody, but they were very hyped up by a lot of people, and everybody was talking about them. Most people were saying, oh, this is so in-depth, this is great work, all this stuff, and then you go back and you look at it, and it's just ridiculous. Like, imagine bringing a therapist and pretending that she works on your crew to secretly evaluate somebody to see if they're a sociopath, and telling the girlfriend and being like, oh yeah, don't tell him, we're seeing what? And everything with Tana and TanaCon, obviously it was painted to make her look better. There was no real point. It wasn't anything objective. Obviously you could see Shane had his bias, and he's gonna say, well, I'm an empath, so I can relate to people, and if they've gone through something hard, like, I'm gonna show them love anyway. But if you're doing documentaries, you should probably try and prevent that from happening. You should prevent that from changing the way you present them. Kona said, have you peeked on the ALR Foodie Beauty commentary sphere lately? Yes and no. I've, like, started watching Alex's Shook videos, and part of me thinks, because here's my dilemma with solely, like, people who solely create reactions to Amberlynn Reid or Foodie Beauty. It just kind of makes me wonder ethically where that lies, if all you are doing is waiting until they post something and then talking about it and not necessarily adding too much info. And who I really used to like was On Program Situation, but the last time I checked, she hadn't posted in a while because she, I don't want to classify her as something wrong, but she used to weigh a lot more. She is obese, and she used to weigh a lot more, but she decided to get on track with her health, and so she's been able to talk about, like, the mental health stuff related to Foodie Beauty and Amberlynn Reid and why they might make certain decisions, and say, you know, a good way to kind of get through this desire to binge might be this. And so I really liked those kinds of videos because I felt like they were educational and helpful, but I do still have sort of a habit of just putting on a reaction channel of somebody that I like, because it's, again, that familiar thing of just hearing the noises and voices that you're used to. Brianna said, favorite season and color. Mine is autumn and black, purple, certain reds. Favorite season is definitely autumn. It's, well, in Arizona, it's autumn or winter, because that's like the time when it gets bearable to be outside. We're like 120 for a good portion of the year, 120 Fahrenheit, and it's rough. So finally, like mid-October is when it gets nice to be outside again. Favorite colors are Tiffany blue, like light pink, and rose gold. And I like yellow. I think that's it. Oh, and like emerald green. I really like emerald green. Miku Garcia said, yeah, ever since I decided to waste my time watching the Jake Paul series, I didn't even watch the others. It just seemed long, pointless vlogs and brainwashing us to think these awful people are good. Like, bye Squirrellock, bye Zoe, have a good rest of your night. Courtney said, also, didn't he put on Erica Costell the weight of making sure Jake stays a good person, and he just glossed over the abuse allegations of Alyssa when she told him in her episode? Right. Yeah, the more you think about it and the more you look back with a critical eye, there's so much that's off. Joseph the Gamer said, my question, are you happy for Christmas? Being totally honest, I'm happy, but I'm stressed. Like, I'm very happy about Christmas and to have Christmas off and be able to just spend time being with people I love. But I had last week off work, and then I had Monday off, and so I came back for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then my boss was like, hey, you got to use all of your hours, like all of your sick time, all of the rest of your vacation hours, so let's figure it out. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I was going to leave at 11 o'clock on Thursday. And then we got an email from our boss saying that they were going to let everybody out like 2 hours early. And so I'm like, I only have 3 hours tomorrow to get a lot of stuff done. So I'm kind of stressed about that, but doing the best to just be happy and be grateful. All right, last one from Kona said, I love OPS, but yeah, she doesn't post often. I stopped watching a lot of channels, but I still want to be in the loop, you know? It's hard to find channels that actually criticize and not repeatedly insult them. Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of the danger when you're just reacting to the same 2, 3, 4 people over and over again, is not every video is going to be like a wealth of like the most interesting video that really has something kind of outrageous or outlandish or something that you can educate on. Sometimes videos are just videos and there's not a ton in there. And so when you're watching every video that they're putting out and reacting to every video they're putting out, it's gonna get nitpicky. You're gonna be looking for something to criticize so that way you can talk and make it fair use. You know, if you're just sitting there watching the whole time, that's not transformative. So you're looking for something to criticize. And maybe it's just a normal video, which that's what I think part of the danger is for sure. And same with when you talk about people, like the same people over and over again, even if you're doing commentary videos, at some point you're just going to run out of constructive things to say. So that's just my opinion on that. But that is all I've got. That is the Q&A. Thank you to everybody who sent in questions, both on Instagram, on my community tab post, and on here. I appreciate getting to chat with you guys and just have something a little bit more low-key and personal. It's really fun. So thank you to everybody who hung out with me. Just a reminder, you can get your Duvolle 25mm, 32mm curling wands or a straightening iron for 70% off. 70% off with code Haney. That is just a coupon code for you. Not any sort of commission for me. If you do want to support the channel and you are looking for some CBD, you can use the link in my description, which is affiliate for Soul CBD, and get 10% off with the code in the description box. It's Soul CBD 10. It's THC free, so if you live in a state where weed is not legal and you're worried about getting high on a drug test or it showing up, They have third-party testing to confirm that all of their products are THC free, so feel free to check that out. And oh, finally, last thing. I announced this in my last pre-recorded video. I want to start doing like advice type videos on the channel. So this is definitely not like a new idea. It's not original. Other people do it, but I find them so interesting, and I think it could be a way to bring a little bit more positivity to my channel. If you are in a situation where you're like dating a guy and you're like, is this a red flag? Or you're in a fight with a friend, or you're thinking about changing your degree or your career path, whatever, and you just want to send in your story about it and get advice from myself and the rest of our little family on here, you can send it to hihoneyyt@gmail.com. The link should be, or the email address should be in my description, so I'm going to double check and make sure it's in there. But yeah, so if you want to send any of those in, and I will read them on camera and we will have a chat about the stories, feel free to do that. Don't put your name in the body of the email if you don't want it read, because I don't know if they will be live or pre-recorded. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. TJ said, I like these combos. It makes me take a look at myself to be sure that I don't fall into these things maybe. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I definitely agree. Introspection is super important. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Please remember to like the stream if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. If you are subscribed, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of you, and I love being able to just sit here, hang out with you, and talk about whatever. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Please be kind to people, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.